Hey guys, Lissandro here, and today I'm gonna do another whiteboard tutorial. This time I'm not gonna do electrical engineering like I have been doing the other tutorials. Today what I'm gonna be talking about is economics. Okay, so I'm gonna be talking about economics. Okay. Yeah, I know my handwriting isn't all that great, and it's not that it's crappy or anything. It's just um, kind of hard to draw with this thing. I'm still not used to it, you know. But anyway, um, what I'm basically be talking about is the basics in economics. And one of the things they taught me in U of H is that basically economics is defined as the distribution of limited amount of resources, and that makes a lot of sense because imagine a society where everything was unlimited, every single resource known to man um, was unlimited. In reality, there would be no need of any. There would be no need of um, any economic policies or anything like that. There will be no economy whatsoever because everything is unlimited. There's enough to go around for everyone, and ideally that would work in an ideal world. But unfortunately, we don't live in an ideal world, and our resources are limited. And some areas have more wealth distributed than others, and everything. Now, what I'm gonna focus on is this. Okay, ages ago, um, when it was just people, people would pretty much openly openly trade and everything. And some people would trade different items. Like for example, some would trade like fur for let's say probably firewood, firewood or something. Having trouble drawing it, but basically firewood or anything like that. A couple of logs there and everything. Just a couple of firewood logs and everything. Okay, so people would trade these products between each other, and it was something very tedious because people had to exchange goods goods or services and and they had to go long distances just to make trades or anything. And of course, this was basically before any established currency. This was just known as bartering. And what bartering is what bartering is just the uh, pretty much the exchange of good the interexchangement of goods and services. That's what bartering is. You're not trading for one good or service for a currency or vice versa. You're changing one good or service for another good or service. And what these things are, these products, these are called commodities. Okay, these are commodities. Okay, okay, and we still have them today, but we do things a little bit different now. Later on, what ended up happening is that um, people started realizing the difficulty of trading goods and services. For example, let's say you had to walk a long distance to probably the nearest town just to trade, let's say, logs of wood, and you had to go through the trouble of cutting down the trees and everything. And of course, this is something that's not considered, of course, the work you have to input to get those commodities back then. And basically, you have to cut down the trees, pack everything up, and go to the nearest town. And the problem is that you were lucky if you got to trade it for something you wanted. In this case, like fur or wool or whatever. Okay, but if you went to trade and there was nobody available to trade, or the person that was willing to trade was way too distant, then it caused a lot of problems and everything, and it made trading very difficult. And think about it. If we lived off the bartering system economy, let's see an economy where there's no currency whatsoever, what kind of how do you think things would be? Because in reality today we deal with all types of different goods and services, and it'll be difficult to having to go all the way and exchange something for something else. Imagine, for example, uh, imagine that I had to cut down who knows how many. Let's say I'm growing fruits or vegetables. Imagine if I had to down a bunch of fruits and vegetables just to get, and I had to go and trade them just to get a couple of gallons of gas uh, for my vehicle. Do you know how difficult that would be? Okay, so basically, along comes this other idea, and this was mostly during development, when kingdoms were developing. This is way after settlements of tribes and anything of the sort, and they established currency. Okay, okay, and what currency is just uh, pretty much a universal exchangeable currency medium, and that will be like your fiat currency, a fiat, like for example your dollars, your yen, or your euro, or uh, things of the sort. Okay, those are your currencies. And so basically, what we do now is we exchange goods and services for currencies. Of course, back then when currency first started coming out, gold coins. It was it was gold. It was either gold coins, um, silver, or copper, or any other precious metal they can come up with. I, I I would imagine gems, but I'm not really sure. In ancient tribes, in in South America, Central America, they use cocoa beans. They use not cocoa beans, cocoa. They use cocoa. Okay, so they use that as a currency. So every uh, every every place started out with a currency. Okay, now the problem with uh, the problem with living currencies based on, like, for example, for example, food currencies, like cocoa here. is that these things were perishable. These things were perishable, and the deal with this is that if some creature end up eating your currency, you're pretty much fucked and all. Okay, now that's not that likely with in today with the U.S. dollar because is made out of cream paper. Yeah, some anything can still eat it, but it's not that likely. Okay, and the problem with this was that uh, these precious metal, these commodities, they were pretty much people would pretty much melt them down to make other things. So yeah, they would pretty much rip off a lot of people, melting down gold coins and stuff, and everything of the sort. Because imagine this: imagine you have like a gold coin, and let's say the gold coin is worth one, for example, worth $1. Okay, let's say it's worth that. But then there's a difference between the valuation of gold and the actual worth of the coin, which is made out of gold. So that pretty much would encourage people to pretty much melt down these commodities. So what ended what ended up happening, and this is later on in this this happened later on in the U.S. They hand out like paper currency, which is your fiat. Yeah, your fiat. And it's like I said, your dollar, your yen. I don't know how the fuck you do this. And your euro. Okay, they will use they established these paper currencies, and I don't know if y'all know this, but it's illegal to destroy currency. Just as the same way it's illegal to destroy pennies, quarters for the copper. Now, they used to pennies used to be made out of entirely out of copper, but they're mostly made out of I think zinc. They're mostly made out of zinc and a small portion of copper. Because remember, people were trying to take advantage of the metals in them. Now, in YouTube, I still see people melting these pennies down and all. And personally, I don't know. I don't see what the point of melting it down is because basically you're not getting actual copper, and you're also losing in terms of the work you put in to melt down these pennies. So I see it pointless. Um, but anyway, this is all I'm gonna cover for now, and I'll catch you guys next time. Please like and subscribe, and I'll see you later. Bye.